I'm here to tell you about Mercer County Works. This premier job site solves a problem I think most of us have. The job market is competitive. There are many jobs everywhere, but real job opportunities seem few and far. This is Mercer County Works. It's a job site exclusively designed for you. You can apply for jobs like any other job site. Yet, the difference between Mercer County Works and other job sites is Mercer County Works contains jobs for Mercer County and its surrounding areas. Job seekers like you can also benefit from resume and career assistance to rise above the competition and land the interviews that you deserve. Whether you are looking for six-figure jobs, remote positions, internships, or freelancing roles, you can apply confidently for career opportunities in the area. How does it work? It's simple. Visit www.MercerCountyWorks.com. Search for jobs in the area. Apply for career opportunities that interest you. Not really satisfied with your resume? Then click on the Upgrade Your Resume button on the homepage to get career advice and have a professional resume writer review your resume for free before applying for jobs. On this job site, all career opportunities, supporting job seekers, recruiters, and employers with their diverse job needs. Exclusively designed for you. Real jobs, real resumes, real results.
And we are live. Welcome YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and my favorite, LinkedIn. Welcome to another episode of the Rise and Grind Show. Are you LinkedIn, the future of work, and how you will get hired? I'm here with my main man live from Qatar. Brother, please tell him who you are.
Peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and blessings. This is Justin, your co-host of Mercer County Works, live from Qatar. Ready to get started. What we have going on today.
Listen, we have a group of superstar panelists, so I say that are going to tell you everything you need to know on how to get LinkedIn and how to get hired to land that career that you deserve. So please stay tuned tonight. Stay with us the whole night. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, please hit that share button. Let your friends know what's going on tonight. So as we get started, without further ado, I just want to let our panelists introduce themselves. And so if we can first begin with Miss Melanie Denny, please tell our panelists, please tell our viewers who you are.
Well, hello. My name is Melanie L. Denny, your career empowerment coach. I am an award-winning resume expert. I'm a certified LinkedIn strategist and president of Resume Evolution. And I really love helping brilliant professionals to position themselves for the next level in their careers.
Awesome. Great. Glad to have you. Definitely thank you for being here. Next, we have Miss Heidi Sutton. Please tell our viewers who you are.
Hi, everyone. My name is Heidi. I work with DMCG Global. We are an international talent agency, and my main niche is digital and technology talent. And then I also focus on HR and talent managers as well.
Wonderful. Glad to have you. Thank you for being with us today.
Glad to be here.
Oh, yes. Next, we have Miss Mariah Bryant. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mariah Bryant. I am the founder and CEO of The M Factor, which is a professional career development as well as healthcare staffing agency here in the DMV area. And I have an innate passion to see others thrive in their careers. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here with us today. And then next we have Mr. Tom Powner. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, my name is Tom. I'm the owner and creator of Career Thinker. I'm proof you can make a career change. 10 years ago, I left corporate America, 25-year career in sales and sales operations, and started Career Thinker. We do both career services and recruiting, so we get to see the challenges from both perspectives. So I get to see the pain points from both sides.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for being here with us today. So, Jay Tyler, I mean, let's get right to it. Let's get into the questions.
All right. So I think it's only appropriate. Oh, I forgot, Duncan. I got to say my tagline, right? All right. I forgot because somebody's going to say I didn't say it, right?
Well, it's late. It's late for you.
Right. It's late for me, right? But without further ado, let's do what we came here to do, everyone. You dig? All right. So let's go ahead, right?
Yes, sir.
So the first question is the appropriate question, kind of to start off the foundation of why we're here today. We want to hear about your journey, panelists. How did you get here today to be a LinkedIn strategist, to be a recruiter, to be HR extraordinaire? So if you can go around and just let us know, where your journey started and how you are here today. So let's go with Heidi first, and then we can work our way around the panelists.
Yeah, great question. I started about 12 years ago in the business, started out being a creative talent agent in Chicago, and worked at a variety of different companies internally, now on the agency side. So I do run a full desk. So I work with clients of all nature, small tech firms, big corporations, you name it. And that's really been my journey. It's been a lot of internal recruitment and then a little bit of outside recruitment too.
Awesome. All right. Who's next? I'm not going to call anyone out. You just go right ahead.
I'll just go. Yeah. So my journey is kind of interesting. So the way that I got started, I was in school. I went to university. And I was in the business honors program. My major was business administration. And I was in the business honors program. And the thing for us to do was to garner different internships, right? So we would just say, oh, who's at this internship? Or, what internship do you have this summer, right? So a lot of my peers, not to toot my own horn, but a lot of my peers began to see me as like the go-to expert when it came to like reviewing resumes or doing mock interviews. And I just began to develop a passion for it. So then after I graduated in 2016, that's when I began my career as a finance analyst, right? So right after that, or during that time, it was laid upon my heart to start writing resumes. Right. So I started it as a side hustle, but then it evolved ultimately into full-on career development. And then after that, I got into healthcare staffing. So yeah, that's pretty much my journey, and I'm happy to do what I do.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Mariah. Yep. And Tom?
Well, I never thought I'd be a resume writer. It was never on my radar. Well, back in the 90s, I'm aging myself. I used to work for Caldo department store. Then they went bankrupt. And I was a store manager and a district operation manager. So I had many people underneath me, and they were all frightened. And a lot of them came to me for help for writing resumes. So I picked up that talent. And for years on end, I just did it for friends and family. After 20 years career in sales leadership, I just decided I need to get out of corporate America. And actually, my mom passed away on my birthday in 2010. And my stepdad passed away shortly afterwards. And those life-changing events just made me want to do something different. Career think I had in my mind I would do when I retire as like a side hustle, get me through retirement. So I put my plans, I quit corporate America, I put my plans, 15 years in advance, created Career Thinker, and I've always had HR reporting to me in all my roles. So I was part of the hiring process, development. I worked, if you don't have the right team, you can't succeed. So I knew how important it is to find the right people. So I just took all that knowledge and started Career Thinker, and I became really interested in LinkedIn right from the get-go. 2010, during the recession, LinkedIn was just starting to get its power. I understood the power of it, so I've been a LinkedIn fan, and actually teach a certified course in LinkedIn for my industry. So it's just, I live LinkedIn. So it's really, almost all my clients get connected or found on LinkedIn for an opportunity. It's not a job search anymore, it's a career marketing campaign.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Talk about it. All right. So I think Tom gave me the biggest alley-oop of all time. I'm a basketball fan. So, the alley-oop, when you throw the ball up, somebody dunks it on the other end. And so, Tom, you led me into the next question that I want to give to all of you. Okay. What is LinkedIn for everyone who may not know? But also, why is it important to us in the 21st century, right? In 2021, Why is LinkedIn one of the most sought after platforms, right, to get your next job? So
Well, I could jump in.
Okay.
I recruit for 4 companies. 2 companies I recruit for no longer post jobs. We recruit 100% through LinkedIn. So if you're not on LinkedIn with the right profile, you just won't see the job to get found. Social recruiting is just where we're heading, where you can get found on some type of social platform. Right now, LinkedIn being the main platform until someone comes and knocks them down, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. So your resume and LinkedIn are the 2 main career marketing tools that helps you get found, and it works in synergy with each other.
Yeah, I'd like to jump in as well. This is a great talk. I love LinkedIn, right? So here's some stats for you to just understand the breadth of what we're talking about. There's literally 30 million plus companies on LinkedIn. They're present there. 94% of recruiters use LinkedIn to search for candidates, right? And so if you're in the market for a job, your boss is probably there. Or a recruiter is probably there that you can connect with. And so I think it's just endless. There are endless possibilities. And now, especially with the pandemic, it's no longer like a localized situation, right? It's global at this point. And you could connect with people all over the globe on a professional level on LinkedIn. And I think that really, really changes the game when it comes to job search for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes, I completely agree. When it comes, like another stat is about 35.5 million people globally actually get hired off of LinkedIn, right? So I think I also like LinkedIn as well. I love LinkedIn because that's not only the area where I find most of my clients. Well, about 99% of my clients come through LinkedIn. But also I like the aspect where you're able to kind of like go past the gatekeeper and just go straight to the decision maker. Especially when you look on the jobs portion of LinkedIn, you're able to sometimes see the actual job poster, who are sometimes like recruiters. So you're able to give like a sort of a human like aspect. You don't feel like you're just another number, you know what I mean? And sometimes you can actually start to establish relationships with those HR professionals as well. So LinkedIn it's a pretty big, pretty intense tool, and I love it.
Yeah, I'd like to chime in. I think LinkedIn, for the most part, is also just whatever you make it, right? It's a heavy, heavy content platform. So I think it gives employers perspectives as to who you are personally, too. So it's definitely that addition to your resume and allows to show you your personal side of your own personal brand, too.
Yeah, I agree. I have to chime in also. It is amazing. If I had the LinkedIn tool back in the 90s, I have no idea where I could have been. My reach would have been amazing. I had no regrets about my career. And Melanie, you're right. You reach across the world. My last 2 clients, I had 2 clients in the past 2 weeks that came from Dubai. They found me on LinkedIn. They hired me from Dubai to write their resume. I mean, it's just amazing.
And I wanted to add to what Heidi said about having that kind of personal touch. I know you always say, if you're in the market for a job, the resume presents you as a candidate, but your LinkedIn profile presents you as a real person, a professional person, right? If you could go way deeper with your passions, your leadership style, success stories, things that don't really necessarily go on a resume. And I think that part, and going back to what Tom mentioned about social recruiting, they're looking now for a cultural fit too. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're talking about certain things and you're passionate about certain things and you have certain values, they can start to see, oh, this is going to be even better fit, not just because they're qualified now, because they fit into our culture as well. That's also really significant.
Okay. Duncan, can you do me the pleasure of putting Christy's question back there on the screen? I want the panelists to attack this question if they may. Do you feel on a resume that taking a break or losing a job during COVID will affect getting a job in the future on a resume?
I'd like to chime in on
very good question. Very good question.
Thank you, Christy. Yep.
I mean, are you talking about a break during COVID? Someone be out of work in this year or last year? As a recruiter, I'm seeing that, we probably look at 150 resumes a week. And we're seeing a lot of gaps right now. It's not an issue right now. Don't even worry about it. Now, if the gap gets a year, 2 or 3 years long, then that's an issue. I wouldn't even worry about it right now. Personally, I mean, that's my experience. So it's being overlooked right now.
I was just going to
Definitely.
piggyback on what Tom said. I'm seeing, I was one of those people that went through a job change in 2022 myself. I see a lot of people reinventing themselves, which is great. So don't let that discourage you in your job search. Just keep plugging away. I think one of the big things that I've always tell my talent to, whether I'm working with them directly or whether I'm just giving friends or colleagues advice if they are in their next job search, is to really put together a marketing campaign for themselves to target themselves to hiring managers, right? So right now there's so many talent out there looking for jobs that in the end, sometimes it does end up being a numbers game, unfortunately, right? So you really have to market yourself well and treat looking for a job like a job itself.
Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily focus too much on the fact that you got laid off and you're not working right now. Focus on the value that you're coming with to the table, right? Focus on the fact that you have certain set of skills that are valuable and that you can help these organizations. And just think of it that way versus, oh, they're not going to want me because I'm not working right now.
Right. And also to that point, a lot of companies actually do understand this to the point that I'm seeing a lot of even like Fortune 500 companies have what's called reentry programs. Right. So that is a program. Those are programs to which if you took a break, let's say from corporate life, and you would like to re-enter into that, then they have programs specialized for that. So I think companies are also picking up on that. And I'm seeing that as a trend as well. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. And like Melanie said, just focus on your value.
Okay. What are some things that people can do? Well,
I'm sorry. Are you going to the next question?
No, I have a question that's kind of attached to.
Go ahead. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All I was going to say was, people are concerned about gaps of employment, right? And so what are some tangible things that they can do in the meantime until they get the next job?
Well, what a lot of people are doing during COVID, and hopefully they foreseen this, is they continue education. They got certifications online. They, finish a degree. So if you show some productivity during a COVID gap, and that's the perfect thing to, to speak about, even on a resume, even just put the gap there, with what you've been doing.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally agree. Just continue to keep your skills fresh, right? I know there's a lot going on and it could be, draining right now with everything happening, but it's important to also, I think, take care of your mental health in the meantime, right? Because the last thing you need to do is come to an interview in your ho-hum mode, right? Or in a negative just energy, because no one's gonna hire, Debbie Downer. So definitely try to make sure you're also taking time out for yourself to really reset and stay in a positive place too.
Definitely. All right, go ahead, Duncan. I'm sorry now.
No, definitely. So, Rachel Palms had a question. Do you help people get security jobs? Definitely. Please go to www.MercerCountyWorks.com, where we have, security jobs on there. Register as a candidate, and we'll definitely help you take it from there. But I think that this is a great segue into the next question, right? So when and the next question is LinkedIn only for white collar professionals and business owners? Can blue collar workers use this site too? For somebody that's looking just for an entry level position that may not even have a degree, may not be coming out of college, may just have a high school diploma that just wants a job, is LinkedIn the place for them?
Absolutely. LinkedIn is a place for everyone. LinkedIn can be, I've recruited for organizations at every level, from entry level sales candidates to VP and actually even chief commercial officers. So believe it or not, there are recruiters out there that are really looking to fill those entry level jobs. In fact, if you are a person that is entry level, it's a prime spot to be, because a lot of times recruiters have issues finding those entry level talent on LinkedIn. So I would definitely say get on LinkedIn.
And it's not just about the jobs on LinkedIn. It's about connecting to people that could help you get in front of those people. So it's beyond that. And we talk about entry-level positions. We always have to think long-term. So even if you don't aren't successful at an entry-level position, you want to build a network, because after the entry-level position, you want a better job. So you want to build that network, build those tools, those social networking tools, so it's going to help you in the future. So it's not a waste of time for anybody.
And another thing too that entry-level folks can use LinkedIn for is research, right? You can research companies on LinkedIn. You can connect with people who work at these companies. You can try to network and request some informational interviews and really see what's going on. What are they posting about? And just get information, if nothing else, research.
Right. And you're also able to stay updated when it comes to, different industries, and depending on, I think this is in LinkedIn Premium, but you're also able to utilize LinkedIn Learning, which is a way for you to also brush up on your skills and keep your skills fresh.
Yeah, and I actually have a client right now, a college grad, going to be college grad in May in Texas Tech, and he's targeting the aerospace industry, and there was 5 entry-level jobs at SpaceX. So the job postings are there, the people are there, so everyone should be there.
Yeah.
Heidi, I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, as an internal talent acquisition recruiter, at some top companies, there's nothing more that I loved than receiving a LinkedIn message from a candidate that expresses interest in going to work for your company, right? It just says so much about the company you work for. It says so much about their determination to get into your company. So that's great.
Nice. And we have another question from one of our viewers, Christina. So the question is, will gig jobs be a problem on a resume? I've taken up driving deliveries, and I was in the food industry for 10 years.
Well, I don't know what I mean by a problem. Work is work in many cases. So just give it value. So if you're in a gig economy for 10 years, maybe put it under one umbrella and talk about the different projects, the different gig income you had, and talk about the success rate. How did you increase your own income each year? How did you land more clients? How to become the #1 requested ABC, whatever. Just give it a lot of value, and you'd be surprised. We're in a world, we should never have one income stream. We should always have a side gig, a side hustle on top of our real job. I know it's hard to do sometimes, but it's a gig economy. IT people, delivery, just so many different types of gig economies out there that it's where we are in 2020.
Yeah, and I don't think, given our current situation, I don't think any employer is going to look at you sideways like you delivering food, right? You are providing for your family. That's what you're doing. And we all know that a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of companies went under. There's also new opportunities popping up. But in the meantime, what's the easiest, quickest way for me to feed my family, right? So you kind of sometimes have to take that filler job until you could get back on your feet. So
I have a friend that's been delivering pizzas for the past 5 months, and he's making $900 a week. And so you can make a living at that. So what's wrong with that? Again, it's a temporary, or it's going to be a life career. That's a different conversation. But we have to make a living sometimes.
Definitely. So this is a question that some of my friends ask, and some other people that I know ask, and maybe you can help people out with this in terms of LinkedIn. So when people look at LinkedIn, is it simply a copy and paste from their resume to LinkedIn, or is there other nuances for them to make their LinkedIn profile pop, to hiring managers and recruiters? What's the answer to that?
I think it's a highlight reel, right? So your resume wants to have all the details around it, but if you look at your LinkedIn, when somebody goes to your LinkedIn, you really want the main things to pop out at them based upon their talent profile. So if you're a sales rep, definitely put those sales numbers into your LinkedIn profile. I mean, that's one of the things I look at the most when looking at sales talent within the digital and tech space. So definitely put some of your hobbies in there. There's nothing wrong with getting a little personal on LinkedIn. So show what kind of culture that you would fit into at different companies. Some, big Fortune 500 companies are not the best fit for some people, and vice versa. So really hone in on what you're targeting and what you want to find when it comes to a job or your next career would be my advice.
Yeah, I totally agree, Heidi, when it comes to that point. So yeah, what I tell people all the time, I think someone said this earlier as well, is your resume is like a snapshot, or it's very concise. But with LinkedIn, you're able to bring your full self as a person, as a human being, to show your personality. So you definitely just don't want to copy and paste from your resume onto your LinkedIn profile, because you don't want to be concise. You want to be able to give leeway to possibly having commonalities with other people, right? So I like what you said, Heidi, in terms of adding your hobbies and interests. Two of my favorite sections right now on a LinkedIn profile is, number one, the featured section, right? So that's where you're able to add your work, like add your URLs to any work that you've done, any PDFs, or, just be able to have media attachments to be able to bring a little bit more tangibility to, what you're talking about in terms of your career. And then also, like, I think my number one favorite one is your recommendation section, right? So you're able to deliver the highest level of social proof on your LinkedIn profile. And the beauty about it is it's actually coming from, people who are actually, they actually have profiles themselves, so it is giving life to the fact that you are who you say you are.
Yeah,
and Tom, before you jump in, because I want you to answer this question for me, Tom. So, and Justin's going to hate this, because Tom and I actually talked about this before. So It's going to be, so you can answer the question we just asked. And I need you to answer this question: is LinkedIn replacing the resume?
In some way, shape, or form. I mentioned earlier, two companies I recruit for don't post jobs anymore. We recruit 100% through LinkedIn. So we do a talent search. So, and the way the algorithms and machine learning, artificial intelligence in the back end really helps me identify top talent very quickly. I could do a talent search in 8 minutes if I know what I'm looking for. Getting a job posting online, on the boards, wait for resumes, and start the interview process. And the bigger the company, the longer it takes. That's a 5 to 6 week process. So in some way, shape, or form, the actual paper resume will be disappearing. I predicted 2023. I added a year because of COVID. And it's all going to be digitalized. It's what they are already now. Your resume is not a paper we share anymore. It's a digital file. So in my world, yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. Again, going back to my experience in internal talent acquisition, a lot of times you can apply for jobs using your LinkedIn profile now, right? So you can go to an applicant tracking system and it automatically updates, and you don't even have to drop in a resume. So that's a win-win for the candidate experience all around. It's easy, it's quick. So, and let's be honest, some internal talent acquisition people receive anywhere upwards of 500 plus resumes for one job opening. I know that I've been in that situation, and sorting through 500 resumes is, you want to just gouge your eyes out, right? So it's just easier to go to a LinkedIn page, get a quick snapshot, and go from there. So I agree.
Well, my motto is, a great LinkedIn is born from a great resume, and your LinkedIn is your resume on steroids. When I look at LinkedIn profile, I choose what I want to open and see. Years ago, when you visit LinkedIn profile, everything was open. So you had to scroll to actually start reading stuff. I choose what I want to read in LinkedIn profile. So you get a lot more information, a lot more content, a lot more stories, and a lot more value over function that creates that storytelling, and is keyword rich, which feeds the algorithm. So, just your resume, your LinkedIn is your resume in steroids. I just want to. I'm sorry. I just want to piggyback on Mariah when she talked about the social proof with the recommendations. But one thing I look at, if I visit someone's profile, let's say I visit Sam's profile, and he has 10 recommendations given, and I look at the recommendations he wrote, and they match person to person, a day or month apart, that's a quid pro quo recommendation. That totally destroys the social proof. They need to be authentic and shouldn't look like a favor.
Good point. So here's a question that someone said this. No, go ahead.
I think Melanie was getting ready to say something. Was it?
Oh,
go ahead.
Oh,
or was it Mariah?
It's okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. No, I just wanted to say that, with all of this movement, like you're saying, talking about LinkedIn literally replacing the resume, I think these type of conversations need to happen a lot more, because a lot of candidates are going to miss out right? Because a lot of people are very intimidated by LinkedIn. They don't understand it. Their profiles are not optimized. And if that's where we're going, we really need to start getting the word out. So I love these type of conversations. That's all I wanted to say.
Definitely.
Yeah, sometimes I'm looking at my other screen and I don't see the anticipation of others about to respond. So thanks, Duncan, for letting me know that.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
All right. But someone said something about, I think it was Heidi, about the applicant tracking system or software that some people call it. So this is a great question that I would love for you all to answer. Okay. So what is the importance of the applicant tracking software? What is it and why is it important to a professional?
So it's mostly used for companies just to be able to keep track of all the applicants, right? So when you see a job posting and you apply to it, and it mostly goes into an applicant tracking system. And from there, recruiters can basically filter out which resumes they're interested in moving forward with interviews. So it's just a way to really sort through the cluster of having a mass inflow of resumes. Now, agency recruiters use it too, because it's, let's be honest, again, it's sometimes a numbers game when you are talking to talent and trying to find the best talent for the job. So it's just a way to basically keep everything organized for resume inflow.
Yeah, like right now I'm recruiting for a sales rep in Long Island, and we had the job posted 5 days. We got 267 applications. So an ATS system would never reject anyone. People say rejected me. It didn't reject you. You weren't as relevant as anyone else. So I use it to sort out who's most relevant. Sometimes I can do a different sort, even add an extra keyword that wasn't originally in the job posting. So it helps the hiring managers spend time on the best fit resumes. Now, unfortunately, the best person could be scored very low, but because the resume didn't really show that, I will never know that. And I know some companies say they read every resume. Honestly, I don't think that's true. And if I had to read 267 resumes, I would not do it effectively anyway. So the ATS system helps me dedicate time to the resumes that are worth me reading. And doesn't mean other people are less qualified, just the resume didn't improve it.
Yeah, there's an old joke, not a joke because it's not a joke when you're a candidate looking for a job, right? But a lot of times it just goes to a black hole in the ATS and that resume is never seen. So it's really good to have, not to plug DMCG as an agency or recruiter, but it's really good to work with an external recruiter sometimes to make sure your resume does not go to a black hole.
Yeah, and I think, again, the general public, folk job seekers, they simply don't understand these systems. So they're looking at a job like, I'm perfect for this. And then they get that instant, you're right, because they don't understand how it works, what the system was looking for. And sometimes, honestly, it's out of their control. Like there's parameters being put in on the back end sometimes, like, oh, I only want people in a certain zip code, or I only want people with this specific degree, with this, within this time frame, very specific things that are booting you out. And so for me, yes, go ahead and apply online, but really don't put all your eggs in that basket, right? We're talking about LinkedIn. Yeah. So shoot to LinkedIn, start building relationships, start connecting with people. I would say find people, not jobs. So, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there as well.
Well, Melanie, I'm sure you agree when you write a resume for someone and you say, wow, I would hire myself. I can't believe this is me. And that's what the resume is supposed to do. You're supposed to be so proud to hand it over and share it. And a lot of people don't understand the value a professional resume writer brings to their career future. It's just, night and day sometimes. Because if I look at a resume that didn't get an interview and I look at the resume, I could tell them in a second why they didn't land an interview, because it's a resume.
Indeed.
Wow.
Yep.
And so we have a question from one of our viewers. It says, I'm currently looking for a new job opportunity. My resume has landed me to get the status of under review or consideration. I've reached a recruiter, sent letters of interest, and recently did one interview. I'm having a hard time landing a position. Any pointers you guys can give me to help try to land a position? FYI, the majority of job opportunities that I have applied for are on LinkedIn.
I think for this particular situation, Melanie, you just said it. You took the words right out of my mouth in terms of building relationships, like seeking out people and not seeking out jobs. Like, of course, the end goal, like the long-term goal is to have another career opportunity. But I would definitely start to build those relationships and cultivate and maintain those relationships. And not only on LinkedIn, but if you're in any other local organizations or even at your local church. You never know who may be able to help you get to the next level. And I'm not saying like to use people, but build relationships, you know what I mean? Like bring value and, just be able to be open to that as well. So value people as well as your career opportunity.
Well, I would just piggyback that, sadly, I'm not trying to scare anyone, but about 65% of the jobs, by the time they get posted publicly, have been filled in the process of being filled. This happens with even positions we're recruiting for: internal applications, internal promotions, internal networking, the recruiters social networking, recruiting before the job is released to the public. So you have all this activity going on. They will still interview. I mean, I have family members in recruiting too. They have someone internally they want to promote, but they will still want to be compliant with the hiring practices. And they will still go out and interview 5 people. And sadly, they can change their mind sometimes, and they do, but typically they don't. So it kind of, it's sad that we're applying sometimes to jobs that aren't really live anymore. Right. So back to what Mariah said, we do the job search backwards. We wait for a job posting to appear, and we all try to claw into the same company with 500 people, and we think we're going to win the job. It can happen, and more credit to anyone that gets that done. So we should target companies. We should all have a targeted company list of 20 companies we want to work for, and then build a network in the companies. On LinkedIn, so there's 4 things you could do to drive engagement on the back end. First, you follow the company. You connect to at least 5 people at the company. You turn on a job alert on a job board on that company's page. Not a job search alert, it's a job alert, a function that came out in 2019. And then you want to engage with their brand. Like the post, comment on the post, be active with the brand. So this actually triggers some back-end machine learning. And when a job posts, you will get noticed by the hiring manager. And then when you do apply for the job, you're already engaged with the brand, and that's going to really get you a lot of kudos in the back end. I know Melanie knows this, and she sees that also.
Of course I know it, Tom. I took your course.
You took my course.
There we go.
Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree. I mean, there's no other way better than getting a referral to get in the job. No other way. So the more people you can reach and contact and build relationships with, the better, right? Even if you saw a job and you applied for it, find a real person that could be associated with that job. Find the recruiter, call the HR department. Hi, I saw this position. I was just wondering, right? Can you give me any further information? Like, don't be afraid. You got to advocate for yourself. You got to be proactive, right? Sitting back and applying online all day. It's like a 1 to 4% success rate when you apply online. So, and
it doesn't mean we shouldn't apply online. Just understanding we need a diverse approach, a 3-pronged approach. Apply online, network, and then being found and discovered on LinkedIn. So those are the 3-pronged approach. So spend time in all 3 ways.
I also don't think it hurts to really invest in making your LinkedIn a LinkedIn premium account, so you do have those extra in-mails to be able to shoot a message to the hiring manager, to be able to directly go to that contact that posted the job and introduce yourself and really present your value in a written way, and write yourself up a review, and you got an introduction there. So I always tell people to do that too.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Tom, if I could jump right in really quick, because she read my mind for my next question. So I'm just going to ask the question now so everyone can bring their answers to the forefront. So is a LinkedIn premium membership worth the monthly subscription? Absolutely. Why or why not? Is the free version enough, though? Is the free version enough for most people? So make your case for either or.
So here's my approach, right? I get that the premium has its perks, but I will tell you, every single person that has, I've spoken to as a job seeker and they have premium, I'm always asking, how is that working for you? They always say, I don't even know what I'm paying for. I think you need to master the free first. Right? Because you're spending money and they're not understanding what they're supposed to be even doing with the premium. A lot of them.
I agree with that, but there's some super tools you have for the premium count. There's two of my favorite. I like what Heidi said. The in-mails, you only get 5 and they disappear very quickly. There's two things. With the premium count, you get to see the last 90 days of who looked at your profile. On a free count, you get to see the last 5 people. So let's say I apply for a job to Viacom on Friday, and I go on Monday, look at who looked at my profile, and I just see 5 people, no one from Viacom, but maybe person 9, 10, 11 were people from the company. I don't know that. In the paid account, I see the hiring manager looked at my profile. They didn't start a conversation. That doesn't mean I can't be assertive and start a conversation based on what they've done and introduce myself and give them a contact number. That's number one. Number two, LinkedIn Learning, which used to be lynda.com. I used to pay $300 a year for lynda.com. It's free with the premium count. You need to brush up in Excel before an interview. You need to take tests and get certificates on your LinkedIn profile through LinkedIn Learning. It's so much there. It's worth every single penny and then some.
It's only worth it.
I'm sorry.
If you know
I'm passionate about it.
I get
Right.
it, but you
Of
got to
course.
know how to use it and maximize it. And I think people are like, "Oh, I need premium," and then they're not using it, right? They have to know what they're buying and have a plan for really maximizing that.
And one way to do it,
I agree.
Go ahead.
No, just about one thing LinkedIn says, with the badge, you're supposed to get floated to the top of the list. Well, so many people have the premium count, the premium badge, you don't get floated. I don't think it really works, to be totally honest. So I think people buy into that more than anything. I'm sorry, Heidi.
So I was just gonna say, I know that you only get 5 in-mail credits, right? It doesn't seem like a lot, but like what Tom said with the viewership of being able to see the hiring managers that go to your page, you can then send them a connection request, and just in your connection request, introduce yourself, be real quick and to the point, let them know you're interested in a job opportunity, and you still have a better chance of floating up to that top candidate range. So just a little tool.
And the perfect message of that, you say, "Hi, Mr. Smith. I see you peeked in my profile on Monday. By the way, I applied to this position. My contact information. I would love to speak further about it." A connection message like that, you only get 300 characters, can increase that engagement, and boom, that nice message could get you the interview above anything else. So.
That's good. That's good. This is a great question, and I'm glad that you all had different opinions on it as well. It brought a little spice, a little flavor, some more.
You can count on me for spice.
Right. I love it. I love it. Dunk, did you have a question before? I feel like you were inching in. Maybe you had some. Yeah.
I am. So I'm just curious, and I think really just to go back to we talk about applying for jobs on LinkedIn, right? So I hear, like with Indeed and Monster.com, CareerBuilder.com, that, when you apply for those jobs, you may be one of 600 people that have applied for the job, or that job may be expired. Who knows? So the same thing I'm hearing kind of with LinkedIn. So is it actually worth applying for a job on LinkedIn outside of making the connection to try to get a job with that company? So basic is, should I, if a job pops up on LinkedIn, should I apply for it or just let it go?
Absolutely. Yes. Apply for it.
Apply for it in the database, because if you're going to contact me, let it ready. So I know. I think we could overlap.
Yeah, I think so too.
I say.
Go ahead, Tom. It's on you.
Go ahead, Tom. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I say apply for, get in the database, because if you're in the system, you're out of the game.
All right. I just want to make sure, like a temperature check. Is the internet fine?
I think we're all choppy right now.
Yeah, and if the public can let us know in the comments, how is it looking on their end in terms of our connection? Just want to make sure that we're looking okay. Just let us know in the comments what you see. But can everyone hear me? right?
Yes.
Okay, I can
Yeah,
hear you.
okay, cool.
You look
Cool.
pretty clear over
Yes. Skynet has granted us access now. I guess we can go ahead
there.
and continue. Thank you, Skynet. All right. So we talked a lot about networking so far on LinkedIn. And I believe personally, as a resume writer, that I would like to bypass the ATS on all accounts, if I can. That's the way I teach my clients. So in terms of being a professional, how do you use LinkedIn to network and find opportunities? How does that work?
Yeah, so I definitely like the point that Melanie made earlier. Was it Melanie? No, Heidi. I think we all made a point of using InMails, right? So just being able to contact job posters based on specific opportunities. Also, groups are pretty beneficial as well in terms of, whether you like a local job. Like I live here in the DC area, so they have a couple of groups that are very specific toward that region. Or you could also join groups that are specific toward your industry or your role. And then just be able to connect and to converse that way. Also, I will also recommend connecting with people who you may know already in your network as well. And in your connections portion or your network portion, LinkedIn will actually recommend people that you should connect to. When it comes to your like some of your like your school that you went to, as well as like your location, previous colleagues, or if you all work at the same company, maybe a colleague of yours probably moved up the ladder a little bit, and you want to re-enter back into that company, right? So those are the top 3 ways in which I would try to achieve that goal.
One of my favorite ways that I teach my clients is to search posts, search content, and search hashtags. So, right, hiring now hiring, and then putting in different parameters in the keywords for actual posts. Like people are posting this information. There's just a lot of hidden gems out there, right? Like Tom said, people go on LinkedIn and literally they're only there to get find candidates. So if I'm a recruiter and I have a posting and I didn't really officially post it anywhere else, I may create a post on LinkedIn saying I'm hiring for this. Here's the link, or email me at, right? So searching the content in that way, I think is a great hidden gem that a lot of people don't realize that you could do.
A technique I coach my clients on is, where are they now? So let's say 10 years ago, I worked for, let's just say Macy's. And I could actually search for people that used to work at Macy's that are no longer there. So we have something in common. We both worked at Macy's, and now they might be someplace they want to go. So I have a reason to connect with them because we both used to work at Macy's at some point. Now there's someplace else I might want to be. So start the conversation. Same thing with alumni groups. I don't care when someone graduated, the more senior they graduated, the better of a connection they could be. So look at when they graduated, where they live, what they do, and where they work. And you can get a really targeted list of people to connect with because they bring relevance to your career future.
That's good. That's good. And so this is another question, about networking and I guess furthering your account on LinkedIn. So Tom talked about, I think, authenticity when it came to recommendations on LinkedIn before. So what are the best ways for someone to go and ask someone for a recommendation if they were to reach out? And how would they make it authentic without looking like it was a exchange, if you will?
I think it's all about give and take, right? You've got to ask for something at the end of it if you want something really. So you're going to have to ask for it. And then once they give it to you, you give it back, or you give it first. And it's just a give and take, and it works out really, really well that way.
But what you could do, if I ask my friend Sam for recommendations, so we work on a project together, and he writes one for me and I write one back, I could go to my profile and hide the one I wrote from him, so it doesn't look like a quid pro quo, and nobody would know that except if you go to Sam's website, LinkedIn, we see my recommendation. So the ones you write, if they write one back, just hide the one you wrote for the person. Okay, so they look authentic. It doesn't look like favor, because as a recruiter, I always look at the recommendations. And when I see 10 given and 10 accepted from the same 10 people, it does nothing for me. And when you ask for a recommendation, guide what you want them to recommend. So if I worked for, I want a boss to recommend me, or a colleague or a vendor, maybe say, would you mind write a recommendation, write a few words, possibly speak about project ABC, how we worked and met the deadline. Guide what you want them to write so it's more relevant to what you need.
Interesting.
Totally agree. Make the connection. Make it easy, because it's people don't do recommendations because they have to think.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah, the easier you make it for them, the better.
It's true, though. It's true. And is there any tips on what to exactly say to someone, like when you're typing that message, or like what do you say to the person? Say, hey, I need a recommendation. Help me out.
There's actually a format on LinkedIn when you ask for a recommendation. There's a template that they use, so LinkedIn makes it very, very easy for you to ask for one, and then you can always just a couple guide notes and you're good to go.
Unfortunately, the template no longer has. It's just would you write me a recommendation? So you're asking somebody so just make it conversational. Ask them to would you mind writing a few words? And I don't like the word recommendations. Would you mind writing a few words about when we work together, or how we work together, or how I was as a boss or an employee? Make it conversational. The template is no longer really effective because it's just one line. Can you write me a recommendation? So don't use a template. I'm sorry, Heidi, but I didn't mean to.
No worries.
But just make again. You're asking someone
So I haven't had a recommendation in a while, can't I?
Well, Heidi, if you give me a recommendation, I'll give you one as well.
Well, hey, that's the way it works, Duncan.
I have to hide it on my profile. I'm gonna hide it. I'm gonna hide it on my.
Make sure you hide it, though. Hold on. Make sure you hide it. That's good. So. Here's another question too that I have that's, I don't know if it's redundant, but maybe you can let me know, experts, right? What if a person already has a branding website where they have like a portfolio of what they have done already and explains a little bit about who they are, but it's not LinkedIn? So is it redundant to have both? Should they have their own website and LinkedIn? Is LinkedIn enough? What's the medium?
Both.
Okay.
Have both, because when they Google you all over the place. So you have a strong footprint that is positive. And for the searchability within LinkedIn, you still need that because recruiters are searching within LinkedIn, but they're also searching Google. So to have both is like you're ahead of the game, I think.
Well, I agree with Melanie. Having both, well, if they suck, they suck. So if you can have a portfolio, it better be impressive. If you have a LinkedIn profile, it better be impressive. Otherwise, I'm sorry, I'm very candid with my approach.
So the assumption is that they're good.
Well, I don't assume anything in this world anymore. And because I've had graphic designers that I do the LinkedIn profile and they have a portfolio, and I look at it, I says, I'm sorry, I say to myself, it looks like, I don't know, it just looks bad.
Yeah, I think if you're a creative, you have to have an additional website, an additional portfolio. I think that's if you're a designer, you need to have a website that shows off your design work. But let's say you're a tech salesperson, you're a digital salesperson. I don't really think it's necessary, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's sentiment to everyone. Yeah, and even if possible, going back to like the featured portion of your LinkedIn profile, even if you're able to possibly attach maybe a few of like the portions or a few of the attachments, or your work, some of your work from your actual website into the featured portion, I think that would kind of spark a little bit of interest as well, just coming from your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, create a slide deck. You're right. Create a slide deck and add it to the feature section.
Right. And so Melanie and Heidi, I'd see that you were at odds, maybe, because I think Heidi said that maybe for some jobs, maybe not with the personal website. But then Melanie said, oh, maybe I think it's applicable. So is there any parting shots on that before we go to the next one?
No, I think you're only going to see that. I agree with Melanie and some. I just don't know if it's necessary. Like if I'm looking at me focusing specifically in the digital and technology space, or even HR talent managers, I don't necessarily look for an additional portfolio besides LinkedIn and their resume was what I was just going to say. But if you have it, great.
Exactly. So I feel like, now with look, you're going to get Googled, right? They're going to research you.
Right.
So why not have something else for them to find that is positive and it's putting your brand to the forefront? That's my thing. It's like, it just gives you another differentiating factor, right? To have this whole website with your brand and on your accomplishments highlighted there, and it gives you a bigger digital footprint, which is important now, right, in this day and age. So that was my perspective.
Okay. Just want to make sure you both got your thoughts out.
Yeah, we're good.
No problem.
And so I'm curious. I definitely want to ask this question, especially for those that are recruiters or individuals that are doing any hiring. So when you go on LinkedIn and you see somebody that may have, and as far and few, that may have about 30,000 followers, a million followers. Are you actually attracted to that person? Would you still contact that person for a job, or would you not? Would you stray away from an individual like that? Because I'll just leave it there.
That's a good question.
Good question,
though. The answer.
Yeah. I'm going to be quiet on this one because I'm interested to hear what you guys say.
I think it depends what you do. If you're marketing, I would value that. I actually value the opposite less. Did I say that right? So if someone's in sales and they only have 25 connections and they've been in sales for 20 years, they don't know how to network and connect with people and sell. So there's a seesaw there. So if someone's in marketing or they're in production, program management, I would want to see a lot of followers, a lot of connections. So that's why the badge, you want to get to the gold standard of 500 connections, because it kind of says, okay, I know how to network in today's world. I know how to connect with people. I know how to speak to people. I'm not afraid to be assertive. Those qualities matter. So if someone only has 25 connections, sadly, in my world, that kind of works against them. I don't know if anyone agrees.
I'll chime in. I'm one of them people. So I'm maxed out at 30,000 first degree connections. And then I have an additional 35,000 followers or so forth. But, that's taken a lot of time for me to build up. That has not been an easy task to do. I was an early adopter of LinkedIn. I started doing it, 2006. And I've always been in the recruiting space or sales. And I really use LinkedIn to warm up my calls, to whether it be clients, talent, or again, when I was back in sales. So I think it's more power to you. I don't know if that's just me because I've done it myself, or that's why I said I was going to sit back and listen to everybody's approach, because it's just kind of an interesting topic to me.
Right. All right. Mariah, you have any input on this one?
I think Tom covered it pretty well. I think it's definitely based on your industry as well as your role. Like if you're in sales and marketing and you only have 50 connections, then Houston, we have a problem. But
they got a problem with that snow. I think they got some snow.
Yeah, I was there. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended, right? Yeah.
Sorry about that. But
no.
Yeah, I definitely echo the sentiment
as well
for Tom.
Definitely. Okay, cool. We have a couple more questions to maybe round out the show. This other question is important, I think, for a lot of listeners in terms of different tips that they can use. So if you had to nail about 3 different tips that are the strongest to build your LinkedIn profile, what would you suggest for someone to do and to follow?
I'll start.
Do you mean to build your profile or to build your connections, or both?
Good question. To build your profile, to make it the best that it could be. Yes, good question. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. For me, one, it needs to be relevant and relevant to your future. You always write toward where we want to go next. So keep that in mind. You don't want to talk about things you did 20 years ago if it's not relevant anymore. Be authentic. I want to look at someone's about page. I want to learn about them, what they bring to the table, how they make a difference, their leadership style, how they communicate to customers, how they meet deadlines. I want to learn about your core professionally. The rest of the LinkedIn profiles and explain your career fit. That's number 2. And number 3 is enjoy LinkedIn. It's just there's so much in LinkedIn when you take down the walls. Someone just doesn't answer you. That's the worst thing that can happen. So you get rejected by no one saying hi to you. So just break down the walls, have fun with it, connect, and build that network. It's a lot easier than we think. And once we start doing it, we're surprised how easy it is.
I love that. I definitely echo what Tom said. I think definitely optimize the profile for your keywords, right? So based on where you want to be, do some digging, do some research, and really figure out what are your main keywords and sprinkle them throughout the profile. I think that's going to start getting some more passive opportunities coming your way just based on the recruiter search and things like that. But there are also some other things that LinkedIn likes and will boost your discoverability, as they call it. So having a photo is one. So please have a photo. Some people are like, I don't want to put a picture because they're going to know what I look like. Yeah, we want to know what you look like. You definitely want to have, at least 5 skills. I would say shoot for all 50. That's the limit, right? You want to have your city, state listed. You want to have your industry listed, little things like that. Pretty much just follow the prompts when they tell you, hey, your profile is not complete. They want you to have a complete profile. So follow those prompts and try to fill in as much as possible and for those so that your discoverability gets boosted up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll chime in. Just a little small piece of advice that I think really stands out is the first little introduction in your profile. So not the introduction, like the main introduction, but I think you're allowed 30 characters right by your profile picture and your name. Be creative with that. If you're open to work, say you're open to work, hashtag open to work if you're looking for a new opportunity. I think that's great because when you engage in comment on other people's profiles, not everybody's going to click on your profile to actually go to your profile. It's kind of like a little piece or tiny little bit of info on your profile, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I would definitely say be personable. So, be personable in your profile when it comes to your summary section. Also be personable when it comes to even how you write your professional experience section. Don't be afraid to add on the different interests and follow different companies, as well as even take it a step further and be active when it comes to those companies' profiles and their postings on LinkedIn as well. And also just don't be afraid or don't be feel like you are not able to list out the different volunteerism activities that you've been able to have, as well as different organizations, because then you never know where you can strike a commonality with others, right? Let's say if I'm a part of a particular sorority and so is someone else, particularly a hiring manager, then that could definitely open the door for a conversation. But I would just definitely say just be personable.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And so I do want to ask this question. I don't know if anybody else had anything, but I do want to ask this question. So when we talk about the resume, and I think that the paper resume, I think that unless you're in a certain industry, you do not include your picture on that resume, right? And so something I always said that, a picture can trigger unconscious bias.
Yes.
And so is that the same with LinkedIn, whether it's my picture or, some of the authentic things that I want to post on my LinkedIn or even in my profile, if I put, my next move is, to the moon, so I'm going to be an astronaut. Will those things, trigger the unconscious biases that we see in society today?
Well, I think to chime in, being internal again at a variety of different companies, I actually was involved in diversity and inclusion efforts. So sometimes recruiters actually seek out diverse candidates, whether it be your sexuality, your gender, your race, whatever it may be. So I say, yes and no, but sometimes those candidates are actually seeked out, right? Because we need diversity on our teams.
Right.
Yeah. So, also to that point, I'm sorry, Melanie, go ahead.
No.
Yeah, but I was going to make an assertion as well. What opportunity is for you is going to be for you, right? You don't want to particularly work for a company if, they are discriminatory, or they pass by you for, however you look, or however you seem to portray yourself. So you definitely just want to be open to, whatever is for you will find you. And I don't mean to sound fluffy or anything, but I wouldn't constrict myself or constrict who I am in my story, for the benefit or for the comfortability of, a particular company. So yeah, what is for you is for you.
Just to piggyback what Mariah said, I mean, sometimes it's not the company that's discriminating. It can be one hiring manager. So we can't control unconscious bias. But what matters to me more is when I see a sad headshot where someone looks unengaged, it's the picture to the right, they're taking a selfie at the headshot. You can't see them. The lighting's bad. It's just a bad picture. Be confident, whoever you are, in your skin. Give me a happy, engaging photo, looking straight into the camera. Engage with me by your photo, and that's going to go a lot further than anything else.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think
You know,
Melanie was going to say something as well.
Oh, I was just going to say, Mariah, you said exactly what I was going to say. Because at the end of the day, right, I alluded to earlier, people think, I don't want to put my picture. When you show up to work, or now when you show up on the Zoom session, this is who you are.
Right.
And so you if you decide that you want to hide certain things, you're going to have to keep that up for the entirety of your tenure. Who has that type of energy?
Right.
So
only thing I was going to say was, I work internationally, right? I'm in Qatar, and it's actually welcomed to have a picture. They want to discriminate. To be honest, they want to know, okay, what race are you? And what race are you? And they want to know everything. You put so many things on a CV that we would never dream of putting on a resume in Western countries. So it's just something that they're looking for. So if they want someone that's African American or it's American in general, they're going to get an American for that job, or a British person for that job. So it happens a lot more over here than obviously it would happen maybe in the Western. And it does happen in Western, but it's like more obviously like under the rugs in a sense. So
I think it's so unfortunate, right? Because none of those things has a direct impact on work quality, or anything like that. And unfortunately, if they're, like you said, if they're going to discriminate, they're going to discriminate. And I saw a post the other day, and someone was saying, recruiters, can we please normalize telling candidates why they didn't get hired? No, you can't. They can't. They can't, because the reasons are not. They're not legit reasons. So it's a problem, and it's very, very challenging to overcome.
It is. Well, we are almost at the conclusion.
Yes,
right? We have two questions, right, that we always ask at the conclusion of the show. And before we go into that, just want to say thank you for our panelists so far with their answers. It's been a wealth of information, too much information, right? Because it's like some people I know can just have to replay this a couple of times, like a good rap song. Got to replay it to get the lyrics. But let's go into our last couple of questions, right? So if someone just tapped into this live right now and they didn't see anything, right? What's the biggest takeaway that you can give for the listeners today from your perspective?
I would say embrace LinkedIn. Do not be intimidated by it. Explore it. Start to build relationships. Be authentic there, and it'll open up so many opportunities for you.
And to continue that conversation, LinkedIn wants everyone to be successful for the reason they're on LinkedIn. If you're a sales rep, you're a recruiter, you want to create a leadership team, you want to create a brand, you want to find a job. They want everyone to be successful for that reason. But LinkedIn is nothing but a huge database in the back end. And the content in your LinkedIn profile is your data point. So the more the data matches what's relevant to you, that's when you get better opportunities and be more successful on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is really nothing but a big database. And when data connects, people see each other, conversation starts, opportunities happen.
Yeah, I would say my point would be always be strategic on LinkedIn. So always move through LinkedIn with strategy.
Mine would be to definitely push out content that is relevant to what you're looking for. Plant those seeds ahead of time to cultivate those relationships for the future. And then second would be just to go after what you want. Slip into those messages with the hiring managers, like DM them, message them, email them, and just go after what you want.
All right. And so last question, and this is a really good question as well. Where can we find you on social media? Your website, your social media handles, everything like that. So in this question, we're going to do an order. so Duncan can prepare the prompts. All right. So Melanie, can you go first? Where can we find your social media? What's your website and information?
Absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn, Melanie L. Denny. My website for resume writing is resume-evolution.com. I'm also on Facebook, Resume Evolution and/or Melanie L. Denny. Also on Instagram, Resume Evolution. Oh, there's my website. Yes.
Yeah, definitely check it out for sure. All right. Thanks, Duncan, for that. Let's go with Heidi.
You can find me on Instagram at Heidi Recruits. So just HEIDI Recruits, RECRUITS. And then you can find me on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/Heidi Sutton Recruits. Or you can find me at Facebook, facebook.com/Heidi.Sutton.Rockstar
All right. The Rockstar Recruiter. I like that.
That's actually, I apologize. That's actually an old website. Needed to update that. I have actually formed partnership with DMCG Global. So sorry, I didn't update that ahead of time.
Oh,
and
it looks good.
Right. Just as context, I'm a contextual person. Heidi came out to us a long time ago and said, "We'll do the show, no problem." This is a long time ago, right? That's
why. As well as Tom. I think we talked last year.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right. So, Mariah, where can we find you on social media? What's your website and contact information?
All right. Just to confirm, I not only write resumes and LinkedIn, but I also do healthcare staffing. So in terms of me on LinkedIn, it's Mariah Bryant. Also, my website is www.getmfactored.com. And on social media is the M Factor LLC on most social media platforms.
All right. Yep. There we go. The M Factor. I like that. It's got a ring to it.
Yeah. Like M is for Mariah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I think no, definitely. Great work on the website. And then last but not least, Tom, where can we find you on social media?
I'm going to make this super simple because my name is not common. Just Google Tom Powner and everything comes up in the first page. On LinkedIn, Tom Powner. On Google, on Facebook, Tom Powner. And Career Thinker is my website. So it's super simple.
Yeah, I like it. All right. The Career Thinker. Yeah, there we go. All right. And you have a course, Tom. I felt like Melanie said she took a course of yours.
Yeah, it's an NCOPE course. I created a certification course for LinkedIn for our industry to empower our resume writers and LinkedIn profile writers to help the client boost their success on LinkedIn. So it's been successful. It started in 2018. We have like 180 people certified right now. I'm in the middle of a class right now.
I may come see you.
Yes, you may.
Come see you for sure. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for taking your time out to spend it with us at Mercer County Works. Not only the panelists, but also the viewers as well. Duncan, I'll let you take it away. Last parting shots of the day.
Well, no, I just want to say thank you. I think this has been a great discussion. I've learned a lot about LinkedIn tonight. I think I'm going to go change some things on my LinkedIn as well. I hope that we can do a part 2 of this episode and definitely bring you all back once as LinkedIn evolves as well. And for our viewers out there, if you're listening, definitely make sure you check us out. www.MercerCountyWorks.com. Real jobs, real resumes, real results. And please make sure you like, subscribe, and share on your Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Rise and Grind Show. Thank you. Have a good night. Peace.
Peace.
I'm here to tell you about Mercer County Works. This premier job site solves a problem I think most of us have. The job market is competitive. There are many jobs everywhere, but real job opportunities seem few and far. This is Mercer County Works. It's a job site exclusively designed for you. You can apply for jobs like any other job site. Yet, the difference between Mercer County Works and other job sites is Mercer County Works contains jobs for Mercer County and its surrounding areas. Job seekers like you can also benefit from resume and career assistance to rise above the competition and land the interviews that you deserve. Whether you are looking for six-figure jobs, remote positions, internships, or freelancing roles, you can apply confidently for career opportunities in the area. How does it work? It's simple. Visit www.MercerCountyWorks.com. Search for jobs in the area. Apply for career opportunities that interest you. Not really satisfied with your resume? Then click on the Upgrade Your Resume button on the homepage to get career advice and have a professional resume writer review your resume for free before applying for jobs. On this job site, all career opportunities, supporting job seekers, recruiters, and employers with their diverse job needs. Exclusively designed for you. Real jobs, real resumes, real results.